Okay, you also need to consider the sources and methods that you use in order to research your report paper. The sources that you use are largely dependent upon the kind of report that you're writing. There are different kinds of reports. Some reports are investigative reports where you or other reporters will investigate a situation going on. So they will often, or you will often, have first-hand accounts of something that's going on with a situation that relates to your subject matter. So for an example, if you wanted to write a report on prostitution in Salt Lake City, you might want to investigate, prostitutes, where they hang out, those kinds of things in Salt Lake City, as well as talk with police officers, get other perspectives, probably people in the neighborhood where prostitutes or people that visit prostitutes hang out.
Now, these types of interviews, interviewing and finding information directly out for yourself, is called primary research. Any form of primary research is research that you conduct yourself. If you were to conduct a survey of your classmates to see how many people were aware of prostitution or had engaged in prostitution on either end, that would be primary research. That's not going to be probably your most common type of research that you do, although it is encouraged. Most often you will be using secondary research, which is reading other people's research, other people's surveys, other people's interviews of subjects that were involved in prostitution. So secondary research is really where we're going to focus the rest of our comments regarding ethos and credibility.
Okay, so other secondary sources and other types of reports that largely center on secondary sources would be like breaking news stories, which will have some investigative reporting there if you've got a reporter on the scene. However, the types of reports that you will probably be doing for this course will be more like what you see in feature articles for magazines labeled reports, or in news stories in a newspaper or on a news broadcast, which offers readers an overview about what's going on with a particular situation, who's involved, who's affected, and what the implications might be. So for good examples outside of your textbook for reports that do these kinds of things, I would suggest looking in Newsweek, Time Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the BBC, and possibly some podcasts from NPR.
With every source that you choose to use in your actual paper, like someone who's done research on whatever topic you're writing about, you need to try to check their reliability before you even choose to use it. There are a lot of websites out there that are biased one direction or another, or just completely unreliable. You have to fact check a little bit yourself, and you have to choose authors who have already fact checked. One source you're not allowed to use in this class ever is Wikipedia, and the reason is because we love Wikipedia, we use it, we get a lot of information from there, but the information changes from day to day, and so it's not as reliable as the sources that Wikipedia cites. So if you do find an interesting article on Wikipedia that you think would be, that has useful information for you, scroll down to the bibliography at the end of the page, try to go with some of those sources and read the original writings, and then use those as your sources. With any source that you choose, it is up to you, and you are responsible for making sure that the source is reliable. That means that the author doesn't have an agenda or a bias, and it means that the person who is performing the research has credentials, and they've obviously discussed.
They're probably experts. They have to be experts on the subject matter, or someone directly involved with the subject matter that you're writing about, or someone that might be affected by the subject that you're writing about.
What are some sources that we know of that are biased?
Fox News. Pretty much anything on Fox News is biased.
Comedy Central is also biased.
Yes.
The other way.
Yes. Bill Maher, his Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO is pretty biased. Rachel Maddow, Keith Olbermann.
The Huffington Post. That's a source you're going to get online that's definitely got a liberal bias.
Exactly. There are some other conservative publications on the internet that are similar to the Huffington Post but the other direction, that are probably not good to use for a research paper. The reason for that is you're not going to get objective writing or objective perspectives on what's going on with the subject matter that you've chosen. Furthermore, you're being told by these different sources that we just discussed how to feel, how to think, and how to interpret information that they're conveying to you. And Nicole and I don't care what Bill O'Reilly, what Sean Hannity, what Bill Maher, what Jon Stewart, what Arianna Huffington have to say about a subject matter, or how they want to inform readers about a subject matter. We want to know how you're going to inform your readers, and how that information is important, and why it's why that information should be produced for other people to read. We need to hear that and see that and read that from you, not them.
Remember that the sources you choose affect your ethos. So you need to choose sources that are reliable so that your reader will trust you, trust that you know how to comb through the research and present to them only the very best information that they can actually trust. For a much more detailed description of the report assignment, you can look on Blackboard, and we will also have a lot of assignments leading up to the report that will allow you plenty of time to choose your topic, work on your research, work with understanding your sources and vetting your sources. That's it.
Make sure that you read the article, the story behind the story, which will help you probably understand the report genre in more depth, and it will also help you understand what is actually reporting and what is not reporting, but labeled as reporting, on television, in the newspaper, and especially online. So if you want to be able to check the ethos of your sources as well as establish your ethos as a writer, this is a good article to read to help you understand why it's important to know the differences between what is reporting and what is not, but labeled as reporting.
So, do your readings, join us in the discussion forums, join us in class, and we will talk about the report a lot more. So, join us in our next video about the